Hello and welcome to Conversations with the Lights On. On his first official album, in the track titled Paper Trails, New York based American hip hop artist Joey Badass said a line that resonated with me for a long while during my early 20s and has since resurfaced after I came to an epiphany this week. In the chorus of the song, Joey said, "They say money is the root of all evil. I say money is the root of all people." That sentiment has had a subconscious effect on me. For a time, I have allowed the pursuit of financial gain to permeate all facets of my creative and professional life, seeming to never overlook an itch to ask the greedy question of how does my effort in any current endeavor stem to offer financial remuneration? An entitled expectation to the workings of a modern materialistic man in his quest to subdue all others, because apparently the world has come to an agreement that there is no such thing as free lunch. Enough to assume that even inspiration and curiosity should pay the bill. And while I requested and sent out countless invoices, many of which inadvertently, forces such as inspiration and universal converse just stood still as if to say to me, okay, if you want to be consumed by money that much, then first you must become limbo and wonder if money can move you. So, years would go by without me learning new things and engaging in works that empower me and grow a trust in my abilities and personal growth. Time faded into procrastinated obscurity, often resulting from thoughts of late entrances into fields that I thought to be already oversaturated and drained of their prospector boom novelty. I saw it as joining my purpose in an entry level position with basic salary. Mind you, this greed and entitlement has been for years accompanied by an ego the size of a toddler's imagination. So you can pretty much imagine the scope of immaturity I had. Well, to be honest, my creative processes have received validation, so maybe declaring immaturity might be putting too strong a judgment on myself. Let's just say I was as productive and in creating as I was in destroying. So a stalemate between forces seemed to be the most logical outcome. But how do you figure these things out? How do you? I mean, we are constantly reminded to envision a life of prosperity and success, right? Don't see yourself in poverty because a righteous man out of you it makes not. Manifestation comes from first realizing that you are already wealthy. So, what do we pursue? Do we pursue an image of wealth without chasing the actual wealth? I mean, law of attraction surely states that. Firstly, I should mention that the album by Joey Badass was titled Before the Money, so in hindsight, I probably should have taken the work with a grain of salt. These were words of an artist speaking from a mindset before he had amassed himself a bit of treasure. But what resonates with you will always do. And for me at that point in life, desperation was a hell of a drug, was a hell of an impetus, more intoxicating and a lot more of a drive than any desire for pleasure. Self preservation is nature's primary de facto tenet for existence, and modern materialistic man's preservation covers money. So, in the case of before the money, what is modern materialistic man? Okay, we have ventured a bit into psychology, and I am not yet proficient in the language to dig further. So I'll make a U turn right about now. My point here is that I had allowed money to be the focus for almost everything I did. I go back to a time in my youth when I loved being active. Love was all I could pinpoint when it came to motivation. I studied hard because I loved engaging my mind with textbooks and other academic materials. I listened to and made music because of the unknown world of emotions and human experiences the music would whisk me toward. I would spend hours on hours practicing my first touch with a football. Well, that's how you receive a ball, or throwing a softball back and forth against the wall to improve my reaction speed and athleticism, all because I wanted to be better at a skill that I loved and to be kin with athletes I looked up to. I did most of my evaluations with regards to art, academia, and physical activities based on the respect and admiration I had for the field and the many participants surrounding it, with a gleaming eye to be among the conversation whenever my own time had become exhausted in this physical world. The idea of money became a factor once desperation to assimilate into a dogmatic image of the modern materialistic man crept in. The moment when survival sprung into my mind. I was ripped from a life of wonderful admiration and unadulterated consumption, only to be thrust into a social play that exists inside a pseudo diplomatic construct of which money is the internal mouthpiece. We hear money makes the world go around, bands make it dance, cash rules everything around me. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. Countless other mantras have been repeated around social artistic expressions, and I find it to be a sort of hypnotic trance that persists to indoctrinate minds of anyone who prescribes to zeitgeist as a compass. I don't know about you, but more money, more problems couldn't have been more profound, and maybe what is today needed for the next renaissance. I can look. I can also just put it to conspiracy, right? And claim capitalism. Remonstrate the intentions of evil corporations and lustful institutions that wish to see all us consumers drown in the waters of financial ruin. Ruins that never once were monumental synagogues in the first place, but still have earned worship from wasteful people without any earthly connected spirit. I could portray all of that and come to nothing. Because we still speak about money in various circles with several inclinations, whether we need it, had it, lost it, gave it, earned it, stole it, all the way down to not needing it and claiming to being able to live without it. Money remains the plot whenever modern materialistic man speaks on anything progressive. Or rather, for any progress to come about, money has to be the vehicle that facilitates it. Look, in no way, shape, or form am I giving money absolution with regards to a majority of people's social negligence, right? I mean, a lot of people would easily become oblivious to acts against humanity if it meant that they got paid at the end of the day. I am reminded of analysis. I am reminded of an analysis I came across while watching an interview by the late and famed Swedish psychologist Marie Louise von France, when she stated that during Nazi Germany, many passive and otherwise peaceful non nationalist German citizens would adopt the ideology and act in political support towards the Reich out of fear of losing their financial safety alone. That they were willing to forego their own moral standings just to keep their families fed. Yeah. A less a less consequential example would be in competitive sports, where if you follow any, especially football, which is my preference and recent source of annoyance, you'd find corrupt officials who would rob a football match of its integrity by favoring their own wishes. which most of the time are financial gains, influencing decisions and guiding one team to an unfair victory. It may sound small in comparison to the gravity of a world war, I know, but there are still casualties involved. Patrons pay good money to see a fair game between opposing teams. Players put in effort in training and conditioning with hopes to compete fairly for accolades such as league and or tournament trophies. Tournament trophies. Gamblers place bets on odds and other metrics thinking that it will factor to the outcome, only for one corrupt official to swindle all of them out of it. I mean, it almost seems like most people will look away and turn to weaponized ignorance whenever there's a possibility to come out with a few zeros in their bank account. It looks like, well, it looks like, it also looks like honest criminality, none to be pacified by psychological ingenuity. As an unemployed South African, financial strains are very much a part of my everyday personal life. There are a lot of life things that I have put on hold previously, all because of not being able to afford the basic requirements. Many experiences that have gone by the wayside and responsibilities I have convinced myself of not having the ability to reach or maintain. While a huge sum, roughly 33% of my fellow countrymen share the sentiment, I would be massively entitled to assume that this was not a global occurrence. Life's possibilities tend to shorten, or rather, seem short when dealing with the reality of chasing money. But it doesn't always have to be. My personal salvation came in the form of ridding myself of positioning money next to my purpose, taking what I feel to be the driving force in my life, art, academia, and many other environments and prioritizing it above its external value. What I value is more expensive than anything money could ever rationalize. There is no amount in any paper or digital currency that can eclipse that which is my gold standard. The price of chasing money may ask a lot of questions about you, but never let it dictate what the answer is, because that should remain eternally the best part of you. Thanks.